The laughter echoed through the bright glass showroom like a slap across the face. Every engineer, investor, and executive standing near the polished prototype turned toward the old maintenance worker holding a rolled-up blueprint in his hands. The man stood silently as the CEO's words cut through the room. "You could never build a supercar." For a moment, nobody spoke. The elderly worker lowered his eyes, folded the blueprint carefully, and walked away without saying a word. What nobody in that building knew was that the quiet man they had just humiliated was carrying a secret that would soon shake the entire automotive industry. Before we begin, if you believe kindness matters, if you believe people deserve second chances, please take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone who needs inspiration today, and subscribe to Single Dad Empire for more emotional stories that touch the heart. The city shimmered beneath the morning sun as people rushed toward offices, meetings, and deadlines. Among them was 68-year-old Garrick Hale, a man who spent his days cleaning floors inside one of the world's most prestigious luxury automotive companies. Most employees barely noticed him. To them, he was simply the janitor. Every morning, Garrick arrived before sunrise. He pushed his cleaning cart through silent hallways, polished glass walls, emptied trash bins, and quietly disappeared before the executives arrived. Nobody knew that decades earlier, Garrick had once been considered one of the most brilliant automotive designers in the country. Life had not been kind to him. 30 years ago, Garrick had worked for a small engineering company developing revolutionary performance vehicles. His designs were years ahead of their time. He dreamed of creating the world's fastest and safest supercar. Then tragedy struck. A devastating factory fire destroyed the company. Investors pulled out. The business collapsed. Soon afterward, Garrick lost his wife to illness. Medical bills consumed everything he owned. To raise his young daughter, he accepted any work he could find. Dreams were replaced by survival. Years passed. His daughter grew up. The world forgot his name. But Garrick never stopped designing. Every night after work, he returned to his tiny apartment and filled notebooks with sketches. He created engines, aerodynamic systems, suspension designs, and futuristic vehicle concepts. Thousands of pages. Thousands of dreams. Nobody ever saw them. Then came Aurora Dynamics, the luxury automotive company where he worked as a janitor. The company was led by 38-year-old CEO Cassandra Voss. Brilliant, ambitious, and admired across the industry, Cassandra had transformed Aurora into a global powerhouse. Her newest project was called the Apex Phantom, a hypercar expected to sell for $20 million per unit. Investors were excited. Media outlets called it the future of performance engineering. But there was a problem. Despite spending hundreds of millions of dollars, the engineering team could not solve a critical stability issue. At extremely high speeds, the vehicle became dangerously unpredictable. Months of testing produced failure after failure. Pressure mounted. Deadlines approached. Investors demanded results. One morning, while cleaning a conference room after a late-night engineering meeting, Garrick noticed dozens of discarded technical drawings spread across the table. He studied them quietly. Within minutes, he saw the problem. The airflow channels beneath the chassis were creating turbulence that destabilized the car. The solution seemed obvious to him. He hesitated. Who would listen to a janitor? Still, he couldn't ignore it. The next day, Garrick spent his lunch break sketching a redesign. He carefully rolled the drawings and waited outside a presentation room where Cassandra was meeting with executives. When the meeting ended, he politely approached. Before he could explain, several executives exchanged amused looks. Cassandra glanced at the blueprint in his hands. The room grew silent. Then came the words that would change everything. You could never build a supercar. The executives laughed. Garrick nodded respectfully and walked away. No anger. No argument. No defense. Just quiet dignity. That evening, he returned home and placed the blueprint on a shelf beside thousands of others. He told himself it didn't matter. Yet for the first time in years, the rejection hurt. Meanwhile, trouble inside Aurora Dynamics grew worse. Testing failures continued. Millions more dollars vanished. Media rumors began spreading. Investors grew nervous. Several board members privately questioned Cassandra's leadership. Weeks later, the company prepared for a major demonstration event. Journalists from around the world gathered to witness the Apex Phantom's high-speed performance. The demonstration became a disaster. During testing, the prototype lost stability and nearly crashed. The event was immediately cancelled. Stock prices fell. News headlines exploded. Aurora Dynamics faced a crisis. Desperate for answers, Cassandra ordered a complete review of every design proposal submitted over the previous year. Engineers searched through thousands of files. Then something unusual appeared. One of the junior engineers discovered a forgotten blueprint. No author name. No department information. Just a detailed redesign addressing the exact stability issue plaguing the vehicle. The solution was elegant. Brilliant. Almost impossible. Engineers spent days analyzing it. The mathematics worked. The airflow calculations were perfect. The board approved an emergency prototype using the mysterious design. 3 weeks later, the revised vehicle entered testing. The results stunned everyone. The Apex Phantom became stable at speeds nobody thought possible. Performance records shattered. Investors celebrated. The company's future was saved. But one question remained. Who created the design? Security teams investigated. Eventually, surveillance footage revealed the truth. The blueprint had been submitted by Garrick Hale, the janitor. Cassandra stared at the screen in disbelief. She ordered a complete background investigation. The report arrived 2 days later. As she read through the pages, her confidence slowly disappeared. The man she had dismissed wasn't merely a janitor. He held engineering patents dating back decades. Several modern automotive technologies were based on concepts he pioneered. Former colleagues described him as a visionary. One retired executive called him the greatest designer nobody remembers. Cassandra felt sick. For weeks she couldn't stop thinking about that moment in the hallway. The blueprint. The laughter. The humiliation. She realized she had judged a human being based solely on a uniform. The next morning, she arrived before sunrise. For the first time in years, she walked through the building while it was still empty. Eventually she found Garrick polishing a glass entrance. Sunlight poured through the windows behind him. He looked exactly as he always had. Quiet. Humble. Invisible. Cassandra approached slowly. Words felt strangely difficult. The powerful CEO who could negotiate billion-dollar deals suddenly struggled to speak. When she finally did, her voice trembled. She apologized. Not as a CEO. Not as a corporate leader. As a human being. Garrick listened quietly. Then he smiled. A gentle smile carrying decades of pain and wisdom. He told her something she would never forget. Sometimes the world becomes so focused on titles that it stops seeing people. Those words hit harder than any criticism she had ever received. News of Garrick's role soon spread throughout the company. Employees who had barely acknowledged him now stopped to shake his hand. Engineers sought his advice. Executives listened carefully when he spoke. But Garrick remained unchanged. He treated everyone with the same kindness he always had. Months later, Aurora Dynamics officially unveiled the completed Apex Phantom. The hypercar became an international sensation. Orders flooded in from around the world. Industry experts called it one of the greatest engineering achievements of the decade. At the launch ceremony, thousands gathered inside a massive auditorium. Bright lights illuminated the stage. Journalists filled every seat. Investors watched eagerly. Cassandra stepped to the microphone. Instead of talking about profits or innovation, she told the audience a story. She described a man who had spent years being overlooked. A man whose wisdom was hidden beneath a janitor's uniform. A man who saved an entire company after being told he could never build a supercar. Then she invited Garrick onto the stage. The audience rose to its feet. The standing ovation seemed endless. Many people wiped tears from their eyes. Because they weren't celebrating a car. They were celebrating a human being. A person who refused to let disappointment destroy his passion. A person who kept believing in his gift even when nobody else did. As the applause thundered through the auditorium, Garrick looked toward the gleaming Apex Phantom displayed behind him. The $20 million masterpiece reflected the stage lights like a dream finally coming true. Not because it made him rich. Not because it made him famous. But because it proved something important. Dreams do not expire with age. Talent does not disappear because people ignore it. And greatness can sometimes be found in the places we least expect. Before the story ends, take a moment to comment the word respect if you believe every person deserves to be treated with dignity, no matter their job title. Years later, visitors entering Aurora Dynamics would notice something different in the main lobby. Beside the company's greatest achievements stood a bronze plaque. It carried a simple message. Never underestimate a person because of where they stand today. You may be looking at the person who built tomorrow. And every employee who walked past it remembered the lesson Garrick Hale taught the world. That true worth is not measured by titles, wealth, clothing, or status. It is measured by character, perseverance, and the courage to keep believing in yourself when nobody else does. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Single Dad Empire. Your support helps bring more inspiring stories to people who need hope, encouragement, and a reminder that kindness can change lives. Because sometimes, the person everyone overlooks is the very person capable of changing the world.